Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast, Season 3, Episode 16, recorded on the 30th of December 2023, released on the 16th of January 2024. And in this episode, I will be looking at the Doctor Who Unleashed episode, talking about the church on Ruby Road. So in the last episode, I did a spoiler review of the Church on Ruby Road, which is the Doctor Who 2023 Christmas special, which was released on the 25th of December, Christmas Day 2023, aka Christmas Special. So yes, in this episode we're going to look at Unleashed. So that's if you've watched what I did for the Star Beast or Barbly Honor the Giggle. So any of the Doctor Who 2023 Christmas specials, you'll know that I cover, well, for the Giggle in particular, the Giggle is kind of the template one of what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do an episode for the trailer, which I did for the Church on Ruby Road. Then a review of the actual episode, and then we've got Behind the Scenes Unleashed, the official Doctor Who podcast, and for some of the episodes we have an InVision commentary version of the episode to look at as well, and we have got an InVision commentary version of the Church on Ruby Road. So yeah, so in this episode, yes, we're going to look at the Doctor Who Unleashed. So without further ado, here is my review of the Doctor Who Unleashed episode related to the Church on Ruby Road. The episode starts off with the Whoniverse intro. Stefan introduces this episode of Unleashed. The Unleashed logo appears. This episode of Unleashed includes an interview with one of the goblins. Davina McCall even talks about her role in the Church Ruby Road, and a sneak peek of episode 1 from the 2024 season. Stefan talks to Ncuti and Millie about joining Doctor Who or the Whoniverse. Ncuti and Millie mention how big of a legacy Doctor Who has and working with Mark Tonderoy, the director of the Church on Ruby Road. Millie talks about working with Davina McCall. Davina talks about her love of Doctor Who. Russell reveals that when Doctor Who won a BAFTA in 2006, Davina was the presenter of the BAFTA. Davina mentions that she shifted other filming to be able to appear in the Church on Ruby Road. Davina reveals that John Pertwee was the first Doctor she watched. Russell talks about his inspiration for Ruby being a family. Davina is smuggled out of the building with no one being able to spot her, so keep her appearance a surprise until it was announced. When would it have been? So it would have been after? No. It was, I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head, but it wasn't. So yeah, no one knew basically. Ncuti and Millie talk about filming the scene where they're both clinging on to Ilanda. Stefan talks to Anita Dobson about her character, Mrs. Flood. Russell talks about the mystery of Mrs. Flood and it being a slow burner. Now that means that we're not going to get it all in episode 1 of 2024 season. It's going to be spread out across the series, maybe even into the 2024 Christmas special and beyond. This episode of Unleashed will also feature the Goblin King, filming of the Goblin Song, and a sneak peek of episode 1 of the 2024 season. Russell revealed that one of his top priorities when he returned to Doctor Who was returning it to Christmas Day. Now I'm just going to clarify a bit, because you might go, oh, Doctor Who was always on Christmas Day. Yes, from 2005 to 2017, so the Christmas Invasion, twice upon a time, Doctor Who had a Christmas special. Then when Chris Chibnall became the showrunner of Doctor Who for Jodie Whittaker's as the Doctor to the 13 Doctors era, he decided to move it from Christmas special to a New Year special. Nothing particularly wrong with that. But yeah, that's why Russell wants to move it back to Christmas Day, because he preferred, like, Chris Chibnall wanted a Doctor Who episode on New Year's Day. Russell wants it back on Christmas Day, like he did all the way back in 2005. Stefan talks about Doctor Who's first ever Christmas Day episode and Doctor Who's first ever Christmas special. So that first ever Christmas Day episode is called The Feast of Stephen 1965, and the first ever Christmas special was The Christmas Invasion in 2005. Scenes for the Church of Ruby Road were filming in Newport on the 14th and 15th of January 2023. Russell talks about Christmas Eve being such a big part of the Church of Ruby Road. Stefan shows us how artificial snow is made. Shooty talks about the snow. Shooty and Millie talk about Meet the Goblin King. Stefan talks to the puppeteers who control the Goblin King. The read-through for the church on Ruby Road took place on the 12th of January 2023 in Wolf Studios. Shooty, Millie and Russell, talk about the Goblin song. Shooty and Millie filmed their scene in front of the Goblin King singing on the 20th of February 2023. Russell talks about the goblins being the villains of the church of Ruby Road. The Goblin scene of the Goblin song was filmed on the 3rd of March 2023. Stefan talks to one of the goblins, and a sneak peek from episode 1 of the 2024 season is shown, and Doctor Who Unleashed is announced to return in May 2024. My thoughts: so I loved seeing Stefan's interviews with Shooty, Millie and Anita, and enjoyed seeing a sneak peek of 2024 episode 1, because it's quite a bit away. But I will talk about that in a future episode. The sneak peeks are great. Like when I watched the first episode of Unleashed, so after the Star Beast, so on the 25th of November 2023, I was just surprised. I was like, okay, it's going to be behind the scenes, I'm going to talk about the episode. And even in this first couple of minutes, they went, oh, we've got a sneak peek of the next episode. So they did that for all of the episodes. So I didn't know if they would do one for the Church of Ruby Road at the end of the giggle, which they did. And they're doing one for the 2024 season at the end of the episode, talk about the Church of Ruby Road, which they also did, which is great. So yeah, Doctor Who Unleashed is announced to return in May 2024, and I will talk about Doctor Who's return date in a couple of episodes' time. But yes, that's it for this episode. So let me know in the comments below what you thought of the episode. If you watched it, if you didn't, what did you think of my review? You can do both those things in the comments below. Remember, you can also like and subscribe. And that's it for the Everything Podcast, Season 3, Episode 16. Goodbye.